and complaints. Fingering a curve of blonde hair where it swooped away from her face and curled over her ear, Julia strode closer. A tolerant smile tilted her lightly rouged lips. "Phoebe, I'm delighted to introduce you to Mademoiselle Gabrielle Chanel. Coco, my sister, Phoebe Renshaw." "Oh, Mademoiselle Chanel, a pleasure," Phoebe managed, though she wasn't sure it was. A pleasure, that is. She offered the woman her hand. She knew Gabrielle Chanel by reputation, actually by Julia having discovered Maison Chanel's clothing designs only a few years prior, during the war when the designer had been featured in Harper's Bazaar. Julia had immediately decided the modern clean lines and soft jersey fabrics were perfect for her long, lean figure. Julia wore one such suit today, a waistless, calf-skimming dress in royal blue covered by a jersey cardigan, the sleeves loose-fitting and 3/4 in length. A flowing beige jacket and darker pleated skirt swayed around Mademoiselle Chanel's slight figure when she moved, as did the long strands of pearls around her neck, transforming what might have been a frumpy ensemble into an elegant statement. Phoebe's murmured greeting brought on another clucking of Mademoiselle Chanel's tongue. The woman forewent shaking hands and instead shook her head and waggled her forefinger. Her gaze dropped to Phoebe's feet. Would she find fault in the leather pumps as well? And slowly slithered back up to her face. She commented to Julia, "I would have known this was Phoebe even if you had not told me. She is very much as you described her." "I'm afraid she is," Julia replied brightly, as if Phoebe weren't there. "That's why I was so excited for the two of you to meet. In your hands there will finally be hope for my little sister." She turned one of her patent and enchanting smiles on Phoebe, though its effects on her were rather less fruitful than with most people. "Phoebe, surely you remember I had the wonderful fortune of meeting Coco during Theo's and my honeymoon." With the war a memory and France continuing to heal, Julia and Theo had decided to travel through the country with a stopover in Paris before continuing south to Marseille and then Monte Carlo. The family had received postcards along each stage of the trip, including a gushing report of meeting the fashion designer and spending an afternoon at her couture shop at 31 Rue Cambon in Paris. Phoebe forced a smile. "Yes, I remember. It's lovely to meet you, mademoiselle." "Mais non, it is Coco to my friends. And next time you must accompany your sister to Paris, yes?" She pronounced the city's name in the French way, Paris. "Oh, what we couldn't do for you at Maison Chanel." Once again she plucked at Phoebe's frock, tisking and sighing. Phoebe was saved from further assessment by the arrival of two men who stepped in from the hall laughing at some joke between them. They fell silent at the sight of the women, but only for an instant. "Phoebe, you made it in one piece." Theo Layton, Phoebe's new brother-in-law, held out his arms, and she gratefully entered his embrace. His comment referred to her preference for driving herself places in her two-seater Vauxhall, much to her grandmother's dismay. "You're looking splendid, and none the worse for wear. How did the roads treat you?" "They were quite passable, although I did notice Eva clutching the seat more than once." Her lady's maid had yet to embrace motor travel, and though she never complained about riding in Phoebe's motor car, she nearly always emerged with a chewed lip and white knuckles. "Good, good," Theo said, and hugged her again. "So very glad you could join us." He said this with something of a conspiratorial tone, making Phoebe wonder if he, too, had come under Mademoiselle Chanel's critical scrutiny. "I wouldn't have missed it," she assured him, "even if it had threatened rain and hail all the way." It had been a somewhat challenging drive, if the truth be told. Although the borders of Allerton Place nearly touched the farthest reaches of the Renshaws' estate of Foxwood Hall,